Hi everyone, this is Carolyn Speaks, The State of Our World on Monday, July 12, 2021. So what is it? Good, bad, or indifferent? Well, coronavirus is still with us. We have, I don't know, about 60-something% of U.S. adults vaccinated, but we still have all the children under 12 who are not, because we don't have a vaccine for them just yet. We have to really change this, and people still don't want to get the vaccine, don't want to wear a mask, practice social distancing, but you have to do things that are safe for you and others. You can't be selfish. So, okay. Now, according to the ACLU, the Trump administration began family separations in 2017, months before their zero tolerance policy. In immigration news, the ACLU obtained data that revealed the Trump administration did this terrible thing, and they began separating asylum-seeking families at the U.S.-Mexico border as early as May 2017, nearly a year before Trump's zero-tolerance policy officially went into effect. From July to December 2017, some 234 families were separated in Yuma, Arizona, according to government documents, though the overall numbers are likely higher. Many children remain separated from their parents 4 years later, while some parents are missing after having been deported. Some of the families originally came from Guatemala, Belize, Nicaragua, Angola, and Russia. Oh, Russia, that's Trump's favorite place. Well, I hope we get able to get all those children reunited with their families. It's a real shame what they did. Sounds like the Nazis. Well, that's the way it is. Now, in Texas, 62-year-old Hervis Earl Rogers faces 40 years in prison for illegal voting in Texas. In Texas, an African-American man who waited over 6 hours to cast a vote in March of 2020 faces up to 40 years in prison for illegal voting. 62-year-old Hervis Earl Rogers was arrested on Wednesday and charged with voting a Texas law violating a Texas law barring people with felony convictions from casting ballots. He remained in jail for 3 days until the nonprofit group The Bail Project paid his $100,000 bail. Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton ordered Rogers' arrest just before the start of a special legislative session in Texas, in which Republicans are pressing new voter suppression laws and trying to make it more difficult for people arrested to post cash bail. On Tuesday, President Biden is set to deliver a major voting rights speech in Philadelphia. Imagine someone really tried to vote, who was just not completely clear of felony conviction, was not in jail, $100,000 bail. Ken Paxton, I know you're being investigated, so I hope to get you, put you away for good. All right. Now, what else is new? President Biden has fired Trump-era Social Security head with anti-union, anti-benefits agenda. President Biden fired the head of Social Security, Andrew Saul, a Trump appointee and prominent Republican donor, after he refused to request to resign. President Biden has named a replacement to serve as acting Social Security commissioner until a new permanent leader can be confirmed. But Saul insists he will continue in the role. Saul has pushed anti-union and anti-benefits policies at the Social Security Administration. Bill Pascrell, Jr., chair of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee on Oversight, said Saul's agenda was to impose cruelty on seniors and the disabled. Nice guy, this Saul creep. I hope, I'm glad they fired him. I hope we can put him away in jail for his policies and basically not abiding by the role. Social Security is meant to help people. So hope you go to jail, Saul. You have $1 billion, you're a billionaire, and you're trying to take benefits away from people. Very, very sad. Now, The G20 members back a 15% global minimum tax. Critics say greater change is needed. Well, Venice, Italy officials at the G20 summit have backed a proposal calling for a global minimum tax of at least 15%, an effort to curb tax havens and loopholes for major corporations. The proposal faces many potential obstacles, including objections from businesses in low-tax countries. It also currently excludes financial services firms and extractive industries. Protesters gathered in Venice called out the exclusive gathering of the world's G20 largest economies. This is an economic model that we want to oppose. It is the same economic model that today at the G20 they will try to propose again to get the lost economy back on its feet after the COVID-19 crisis. This model of tourism, capitalism, and exploitation is not a sustainable model to recover from the economic crisis. Well, I hope we end up taxing everybody so everybody pays their fair share. That's what I'd like to see, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Now, thousands take the streets of Cuba to protest economic crisis pandemic. In Cuba, thousands of people took to the streets of Havana and other cities in rare anti-government protests, denouncing the island's economic crisis during the coronavirus pandemic. Cuba is facing its harshest phase of the pandemic, with skyrocketing infections. The island set a new record Sunday with over 6,900 positive cases. People are scrambling to cope amid shortages of medicine, food, and other resources due to catastrophic U.S. sanctions. Thousands of others led counter-protests Sunday in support of the Cuban Revolution and President Miguel Diaz-Canel, who accused the U.S. of instigating anti-government protests on the island and urged the Biden administration to lift the blockade. Okay, President Biden, time to lift the blockade and sanctions against Cuba. Gee, you don't have any sanctions against Saudi Arabia, and they stone women to death. You don't have any sanctions against Israel, what they do to the Palestinians. But Cuba had a dictator, Batista, and the Castro Revolution, 1956, I think it was, the Batista regime went down, and a lot of the people who supported that regime fled the country. They went to Florida. So the thing is that the Batista regime allowed Americans to have gambling casinos and sugar plantations, so they took care of the wealthy and up in the middle class well, but the people below, they suffered. So now Castro come in and made things better for the lower classes, but made it worse for the wealthy and the middle class. So what gives? I'm hoping Cuba will be successful. We'll have better policies towards Cuba. Have to do the right thing. Can't keep on doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, now, that's a lot of stuff going on. And there's a lot of things we could do. Remember, treat other people as you'd like to be treated. And that's the golden rule. And don't try to punish people who do the right thing. We must mass produce the coronavirus vaccine for the world, or the pandemic could drag on for generations. I agree with that. The wealthy countries funded the research, development, testing, distribution of the vaccines that are currently in use, and so the pharmaceutical companies should not get anything. They've been paid very handsomely, have all the research, development, testing, distribution, etc. covered. So why do they need their money, and why do they need to be protected by patents? I think we have to get rid of these pharmaceutical companies and do the right thing for people. Because if one person is infected and some place that doesn't have access to the vaccine, that person troubles, the virus spreads to us. So do the right thing. Get the vaccine mass produced and given to everyone who needs it. And let's continue to research for vaccines for diseases that don't have any vaccines and for emerging diseases. Okay, so that's something we can think of. How about a little music now? Okay. Let's see, what are we going to do? How about, let's sing a song. Okay. Here's this little song. It's a strange little song I wrote. I'll slay your dragons, I'll slay them all. I'll kill all the bullies, I'll kill them all. Don't be a bully, be a nice person. Treat everyone as you would like to be treated. Oh, I'll slay dragons, I'll slay them all. I'll kill all the bullies, I'll kill them all. Okay, that was the telephone in the background. Okay, now, I think we're okay. Now, thank you for joining us this evening of Monday, July 12, 2021, for another meeting of Carolyn Speaks that holds Edible World. I hope you're back with us again tomorrow. And remember, stay safe, take care of yourself and others, and remember, kindness goes a long way. And when the vaccine is available for you and safe for you to take it, I would take it. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Thank you. Hope to see you tomorrow. Good night.